Hi, in this video we're going to use Substance 3D Designer to create this detailed plaid fabric pattern. Let's dive into the steps to achieve this. To begin, create a new Substance graph using the metallic roughness template. Name your graph whatever you prefer and click OK to proceed. Before we start, let's get an overview of the nodes we will be using. Fibers 1 node, it is a simple fiber-like pattern. Transformation 2D node, it allows to scale, rotate, tile, and change proportions of an input. It is quite similar to transforming Ctrl-T in Photoshop. Anisotropic noise node, this creates stretched noise. It has more settings than most noise types, so it can be a bit harder to use. The stretch effect mainly depends on the ratio between the X and Y values. Safe Transform Grayscale node. This node does the same as Transformation 2D node, but makes sure the image stays seamless when repeating it, so no edges or details are cut off. Blend node. This combines two inputs using a chosen blend mode and an optional opacity mask. It's one of the most important nodes in Substance 3D Designer and is used in almost every project. Levels node. This node lets you adjust the tones of an input by remapping values, similar to tools in other 2D image editors. It includes a histogram preview to help visualize adjustments. This is one of the most essential nodes in Substance 3D Designer, often used for precise value adjustments in a graph. Tile Sampler node. This node is a powerful tool for creating tile patterns, acting as a more advanced version of the tile generator. The main advantage of the Tile Sampler is its 7 map slots, which let you control scale, position, rotation, size, color, and masking individually. Each effect can be blended separately, giving you greater flexibility. Uniform Color node. This node creates a solid color or value that you choose. It's a simple but frequently used node, often serving as a starting point for adding colors or setting specific values. Tile Generator node. This is a highly advanced node in the library, capable of creating almost any pattern with some limits. Mastering it opens up endless design possibilities. For the base fabric, add a Fibers 1 node and connect it to a Transformation 2D node. With the Transformation 2D node selected, locate the Tiling Mode property and change the method of inheritance to Absolute. Tiling Mode ensures the texture repeats seamlessly across a surface. Adjust the Tiling Mode to Horizontal, preventing the pattern from repeating vertically. Hold down the Control button and slightly shorten the height of the fibers. This adjustment creates the appearance of thread material. Next, insert an anisotropic noise node to introduce random texture to the threads. Change the Y amount to 150 for a stretched out pattern, and connect this node to a Safe Transform Grayscale node. Set the rotation to 45 degrees, which tilts the pattern diagonally. While you can use the Transformation 2D node as an alternative to the Safe Transform Grayscale node, the latter is optimized for tiling textures, preserving pixel detail and avoiding edge distortion. Use a blend node to combine the fibers and noise nodes. Connect the fibers transformation node to the background input and the noise transformation node to the foreground input. Change the blending mode to multiply and adjust the opacity to 0.2. To add variation to the threads, use a shape node and set the pattern to bell. Adjust the size X to 1.2 and size Y to 0.65. Then connect the shape node to a levels node. Fine-tune the luminance channel by adjusting the values. For more precise control over the luminance channel, go to the levels histogram parameters and click on this values icon. Set low to 0.04 and mid to 0.42. Combine this with the previous blend node using another blend node. Connect the shape node to the foreground input and the earlier blend node to the background input. Switch the connections if needed by selecting both connecting lines and pressing X, and set the blending mode to multiply. To create the thread pattern, add a Tile Sampler Grayscale node. Change the input connection from background input to pattern input 1 by holding Shift clicking the connection and dragging it to the desired input. Adjust the settings. Change the pattern to pattern input. Set X and Y amount to 150. Size random Y to 0.1 and scale to 5. This scales up the pattern and randomizes the size vertically. Introduce more randomness by setting position offset to 0.5. Set the rotation random to 0.02 and color to 0.8. Color random to 0.2 and color parameterization multiplier to 0.1. Connect this node to a transformation 2D node and click divide by 2 to zoom out the entire pattern. To add color, we need to give a gradient color to this pattern. We can use a gradient map node, but there are no exposing parameters options available for this node at the moment. So instead, we will use two uniform color nodes and blend them together. Adjust the colors as you like. Make sure to add one light color and one dark color to give it a more natural look. Connect the thread pattern to the opacity input of the blend node. Let's also add a histogram select node in between. We can do this by selecting the node where you want to put it and hit spacebar to open the search menu. Look for histogram select. This node sets a grayscale value and fades around it. Set the position and range in the histogram select node to 0.85. Adjust the contrast to make the fade sharper, giving the pattern a more organic and realistic look. To keep your graph tidy and easy to navigate as it grows, group related nodes by selecting them and adding a frame. Name the frame and assign it a color for better organization and quick identification in the future. To create the pattern, we need to understand its structure first. This design begins with the thread pattern as the base layer, followed by green lines layered on top, and then two white-colored patterns. It's crucial to follow a workflow that ensures these patterns are created and blended in the correct order. We'll start by crafting the light green pattern first. Begin by adding a tile generator node to the graph, which will serve as the foundation for the pattern. Change the pattern mode to square and set the X and Y amounts to 1. In the size properties, switch the size mode to normal size. Adjust the size X and Y to 0.02 and 1.5 respectively. Connect this node to a safe transform grayscale node. Next, connect it to a transformation 2D node and rotate it 90 degrees by clicking this rotation icon. Duplicate the tile generator node by pressing Ctrl D. Modify the X amount to 100, set the size mode to normal interstice, and adjust interstice X to 0.5. Add another safe transform grayscale node and rotate it by 135 degrees. Insert a blend node and connect the output of the safe transform grayscale node to the background input of the blend node. Then, connect the output of the transformation 2D node to the foreground input of the blend node. To tidy up the graph, you can add a dot node by holding down the Alt key, hovering over the connection, and clicking when the yellow dot appears. This makes the graph more organized. Finally, connect the output of this safe transform grayscale node to the opacity input of the blend node. At this point, the vertical and horizontal lines should blend together, with the stripes serving as the alpha mask. Add a transformation 2D node and set the X and Y offset values to 0.03. Insert another blend node by dragging the output from the previous blend node. Connect the transformation output to the foreground input of this new blend node and change the blending mode to add linear dodge. Duplicate this transformation 2D node without any connections by pressing Ctrl-Shift-D. Rotate this duplicated node by 180 degrees. Add another blend node as before by duplicating the previous one, and connect the transformation 2D node to both blend nodes. Also, connect both the blend nodes together to integrate them into the design. Since we currently have 4 lines, we need to add 2 more. To do this, duplicate this transformation 2D node once more while keeping the existing connections intact. Adjust the offset values to 0.06 and rotate it by 180 degrees. Introduce another blend node to incorporate these additional lines. Set the blending mode of this new blend node to add linear dodge, and connect the transformation node to this new blend node. At this point, the pattern is essentially complete, but might require alignment. To ensure proper centering, add one more transformation 2D node and set its offset to -0.015. This adjustment will perfectly align the pattern at the center. Your first pattern for the plaid design is now complete. In this video, we have successfully created a base fabric pattern and the first layer of the design. By following these steps, you've built a structured and visually appealing element of the plaid fabric. Continue refining the details to achieve the perfect look for your fabric. In the next video, we will focus on creating the remaining patterns.